On everybody, Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with a Tuesday edition of NBA Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Another late night here over on the Lindy streets. Obviously, we had a national championship game to go watch. Congratulations to Ohio State. Feel bad for you if you're from Notre Dame, although the game little bit, well, it kind of got interesting a little bit towards the end, but otherwise Ohio State clearly the best team in the country this season. Combined total of 4 points in their losses. The two losses that they had, they're just a ridiculous football team. So anyway, congratulations. I had no dog in the fight of that one, but I do have a dog in the fight here for bets on this 5-game slate we have before us. I'm going to fly. It'll be another quick one. I did throw a bet thread together over on X. If you guys want to go follow that at Eric Lindquist, talking you through a little bit of my process here, just little bits and pieces of it, talking about some nuanced stuff in the prop market that may or may not show up tomorrow. If you enjoy it, give that a like. Would love to see you there. But producer Jacob, he's ready to go to bed, as am I. Let's get to the picks. Game number one, the New York Knicks taking on the Brooklyn Nets, and kind of an interesting one we have here before us because there's lots of ways where I think Russell and this tandem back and forth with Ben Simmons. First off, we've seen Ben Simmons start over D'Angelo Russell in most of these spots, although I could see that kind of going back and forth the other direction at any point in time. Again, it's left hamstring tightness injury management. That is what is on the injury report. That is a mouthful, but I will say this. The most interesting part from a prop perspective to me is since the D'Lo trade on 12/29, Simmons, 148 minutes with D'Lo off the court. He has an absurd 44% assist rate in that time period. So if you're looking at a Knicks and a Moon assist ladder, how about one or the other? Whichever one starts more than likely. But I'm looking at Brooklyn plus 10.5 here. The Knicks, they have nobody on the injury report, but they're on the second leg of a back-to-back, and Cat and Hart were both questionable entering Monday's game. They both ended up playing. They didn't even play all that well. Cat's efficiency a little bit worse there. It is a thumb injury for him. So we got to pay attention to that shooting here. I doubt I do anything about it here in this specific spot, but if it becomes a little bit of a labored issue, yeah, we might have to try to attack that at some point in time. But Brooklyn plus 10.5, just a lean, pretty unappealing outside of potential props. Orlando, 3.5 that they are laying, taking on Toronto. And this is the only game out of all 5 on the slate that currently doesn't have a double-digit spread. That is wild. People like to call it the National Blowout Association from time to time. Somewhat applicable here, but you can't complain after the fact knowing that all these other games, I mean, if this one blows out, yeah, you could probably complain a little bit to some extent from a prop perspective, but I want to talk about the push and pull effect of Wendell Carter Jr., where he's played massive minutes for 3 consecutive games. 3 consecutive games we are looking at here that he has played 32, 33, 34 minutes, but all of those were blowouts. Orlando got waxed in all 3, if we're going to be completely honest. It is what it is, but you have no Goga Batadze, you have no Franz Wagner still, you're waiting on him. Jalen Suggs, he's going to be out here as well. And in the meantime, Paolo Banchero's assist rate looks pretty decent. Lots of ways where we could potentially go to his side of things. But I think the main thing to point out is Jonathan Isaac. He only played 12 minutes last time, but they were down 16 going into that fourth quarter, and then Denver ran away with it. I think he probably missed a 4 or 5 minute rotation there. And I think Wendell Carter is somebody that they're okay letting out there in blowout time to just do whatever. I know he got paid by them once upon a time here, but he's kind of been like third in line for center minutes. Go back to the playoffs last season. It was Jonathan Isaac playing above him a majority of the time when they could. Goga Batadze, it was weird that they didn't play more minutes then. They are playing him more minutes now, but he's obviously out for this game. So as such, you're getting backup 5 minutes, I think, for Jonathan Isaac. He only played 12. You've seen this go down from 13.5 to 12.5. That is his points plus rebounds, and it's inside of your standard juice, sitting at minus 106 at Caesars. So yeah, we like Jonathan Isaac over 12.5 points plus rebounds. Next game. There's a lot that I covered in that Twitter thread. If you guys want to go down below at Eric Lindquist, just my name, you can go ahead and wear it out. Talked about some of the push and pull effects of Scotty Barnes. I don't know why I keep saying push and pull. I got to stop saying that. Portland. Push and pull effect. They suck. Taking on Miami here, and Anthony Simons is questionable. And when Anthony Simons is questionable, there's going to be some people who benefit because he is a usage guy sitting around 23.5, 24% over the course of the season. He has just been shooting at stone abysmally. I can't even think of a word. My brain breaks trying to think of what the word is. Horrible. Lockbox. Something like that. I don't know. He can't play defense. He's like a first percentile defender. So 25 plus million a year. I think you chose poorly if you're Portland there, going the side of Simons instead of Dame. There were moments and glimmers of hope where they would be on the floor together, but man, Simons has looked just completely broken this season. Wouldn't be so shocked to see him get a day off just because, and have Shaedon Sharpe stepping into that rotation or into that starting unit again where he was earlier. Now they went to the Scoot Henderson side of things. So pay attention to the news in that one. And Jimmy Butler, man. What are we supposed to do with Jimmy Butler while he's just hanging around these Miami Heat? We've seen 2 blowouts, one for and one against the Miami Heat here in his return from his suspension, his 7-game bad boy, bad Jimmy, that whole thing. But Jimmy thing, Dave Matthews Band style, I think there's definitely something to be said about avoiding his props when you see the VIG increased in spots like this. Now, it's going to normalize here as they get an idea of where to set the market for most of you listening to. Again, this is about as late as I'll ever record here, around 10 p.m. Pacific time, 1 a.m. on the East Coast. Good Lord almighty. But we are definitely going to have some type of interest in betting Jimmy Butler props. I just don't think this is going to be the spot. I think the spot for Delano Banton, though, if you get Simons out, is very interesting. Delano Banton is first out of anybody who's actually in the rotation here for the Portland Trailblazers this season in offensive rating. I think he's nice. He's fun. And yet they just don't give him minutes. Even when you get one of these pieces, one of these guards that, the Simon Sharpe, Scoot Henderson pieces, once they're out, Delano Banton still fights to get time out there, maybe because last year he was less efficient. He's a little bit older than those other cats, but for whatever it's worth, I just want to watch him cook. And if he cooks and I don't have tickets on it, I'm going to be mad at myself. So looking at his alts more so than just his standard plays, because again, if he gets the 20-minute ceiling, he will shoot. He will put up stats. That's just his game. But Portland plus 10.5, just a lean from a modeling perspective. I don't really like it overall. I'm much more interested in props in this one. I'm much more interested in you guys getting 50% off because 50% off is nice. And right now, if you guys want to join the Discord, get all of the pick'em cards, talk through the process of all of it. I'm always tailing people over in tails as well. I mean, I'm posting bets that aren't always mine because, well, people are very sharp in tails. We have one of the coolest communities over there, whether it's DKDFS, my dude over there, and always tailing his pick'em stuff, whether it's, a lot of the other bettors. We just got Narco Cop in the MMA. He is a very sharp live bettor in the MMA streets, was tailing some of his stuff over the course of this weekend with the UFC card. I'm telling you, so many, Krakenberg, one of the more well-known bettors out there in the Vegas streaks. I mean, it's so great. The Tails community is, and I've got my own little subset of it there, the Lindy Discord, that you can get $10 for your first week or $25 for your first month when you use code Lindy50 at the link below. We are still looking forward here to NFL this weekend. Can Eric have a profitable NFL playoff weekend? We shall find out. Had 8 of 9 weeks coming into it, which was fantastic. But anywho, NBA, we are rocking, we are rolling. You like that lock the other day? Huh? Kongu starting? That felt pretty good, huh? Didn't bring that up until now, but I'll bring this up one more time. Lindy50 at the link below. Alrighty, y'all, back to the picks. I got a little bit tilted the other day. I'll start with this. I know it's Philly plus 10.5 at Denver, and I normally set the scene, and then I go into my things. Now, scene. We begin. I didn't see a Kongu starting, but I was very, very happy to see that. He covered in, the first 5 minutes of that third quarter, had no sweat whatsoever, getting over that 10.5 points, even money. Closed, obviously I had some more VIG once he was starting. It didn't even really bounce up to 12.5 from what I saw, but it was a smash no matter what number you got it at, and that makes me very, very, very happy. That being said, a lot of people came at me because of the one early game, the over that didn't hit, and then both unders after it hit. But I just know a lot of you are playing those overs in conjunction with your single game parlay stuff. Chill out. It's going to be okay. If you play these as singles and then you want to put stuff together in your lotto tickets, go right ahead. Obviously, talking through the process of single game parlays is definitely something that is interesting. You have to do it in the pick'em streets, whether that's a DK pick 6 underdog, so on and so forth. But just be patient. You have to be patient here in the betting streets because when you're putting 5-6 leg parlays together that are all minus 110 legs, your hit percentage is going to be less than 5%. It just is. that's the math of it. Unless you have some crazy edge that I am not aware of, or you saw it one time on Twitter that somebody hit that one play, which again, it's nice when we can hit the 2 home run parlays over the home run round robins that I fell in love with during the MLB season. These are great things, but otherwise, things like a Jokic triple-double here, it's just egregious to bet. It looks horrible tomorrow. The odds are ridiculous. You could get there in 3 quarters, but when you're sharing a floor with Jamal Murray and Russell Westbrook here at the moment, hey, maybe Jamal Murray's coming back to life, and that usage is obviously useful. You want him to be shooting here off of pass and assists, potential assists, that is, from Nikola Jokic, because that's how you get yourself to the triple-double. The rebounds, he's going to get more times than he's not at this point in time. He's an absolute god, and the points are damn near given. So chill. Bide your time, keep your bankroll intact, make good plays, make positive EV plays every day. That's really all I want to say there. I'm bringing that up now because PG-13 is questionable. Yabusele is questionable. They did not play the last 2 here. And on the Denver side, we have absolutely no news. So it's basically going to be Philly or pass in everything from a prop perspective for me in this one. But I do have a play. And it's Eric Gordon under 10.5 points. Yes, my namesake is out there running wind sprints here, which is not great because he's on the older end of the streets, like closer to my age. So just saying, Eric Gordon under 10.5 points. His usage goes from around 13 and change to 11.7% with Paul George on the floor this season. Now it's very small minute sample, brought that to the forefront here over in the Lindy thread. But yeah, Eric Gordon 10.5 points is kind of a wild one to be staring at. I get it. But if you get both of those guys in, I think it helps out because he's had unsustainably good shooting alongside Paul George in that sample size. Telling you, Eric Gordon under 10.5 points. I like it. In our last game of the night, it is a convoluted one, but I gave you a lean with Brooklyn. I gave you a lean with Portland. 2 double-digit dogs. And yet, this is my favorite of the 3 if you had to do anything. And why is that? Because you got a huge Q tag pending, waiting in the wings. That is Anthony frickin' Davis. And I should have thrown in Andre Drummond questionable for Philly as well. And they started Adam Bona. I should have brought that up. That was in my notes. I didn't do that. Bad me. Anyway, Washington, they're getting 12.5 points because they are terrible. And we bet against them in the premium Discord there with Sacramento the other night. It was wild to see 17 and actually be interested in betting it here. Now they're 12.5 against the Lakers. And it's like, wow, it's at a 4.5 point gap, but Anthony Davis is questionable. I want to throw that out there one more time. I have currently not bet this, so this will be a dealer's choice lean-like situation, but the modeling is pretty true on this one. It's already pretty positive EV, I think, to be on the Washington side of 80 plays. That's going to be closer to like 9.5, 10. Now, when you get to these wider spreads, something like this, like obviously you have to start considering benches from both sides. And that's where I think the Lakers are actually a little bit weaker and why we see 12.5 as opposed to a Sacramento where they'll play their starters a little bit deeper into games up against those bad second units. And you get a situation where you can get a little bit of value betting teams like that, the Tibbs of the world. But you look at the Lakers, they'll get Anthony Davis and LeBron James, the elder statesman, off the floor as fast as humanly possible if the game is not out, or if the game is out of hand to some extent. They're not going to close them up to 2-minute mark, up 17. Like, you're still going to have to sweat the Lakers bench. And the Lakers bench is not good in any way, shape, or form. Yes, they got Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton, who I don't know where he got sent to, but he is still on the roster, it would appear, and not getting minutes, that's for sure. But Dalton Connect, he's definitely soured on the defensive end of the floor for JJ Redick. Has not shot the ball well either, so he's going to find a tough time into minutes unless that shot's going down. Jackson Hayes probably steps into your starting unit yet again here. Christian Koloko. But yeah, you got off the injury report there, Mr. Jackson Hayes is back. So it's a disgusting combination behind Anthony Davis there. You're going from one of the best offensive centers to 2 of the worst in Koloko there and Jackson Hayes. So it's a Washington or pass. I'm going to pass for now. I could see myself wanting to fire this up. I'm going to track it, see if there's anything to mine out of the data in the morning, see what the public's take on this one is, if there's any kind of sharp money coming in to maneuver it, and the Lakers get inflated to 14.5, I'll surely, sadly, be on Washington. And that does it for another edition of NBA Lindy's Leans, Lights, and Locks. 5 games in the books. Head down there. Let me know your favorite plays on the board for Tuesday. I'm going to get out of here. Lindy50, if you guys want to join that Discord, would love to see you. Producer Jacob, thank you, sir. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. We'll see you on Wednesday. Best of luck in the NBA streets on Tuesday.